Marksmanship is one of the three basic skill areas of sniping, along with fieldcraft and tactics. A sniper realizes that in order to achieve accuracy, he has to achieve consistency. When he achieves consistency, automatically accuracy is the result. And by that I mean by consistent shooting style, consistently using match-grade ammo of the same lot, trying to stay so attuned to what he's doing that he does it exactly the same way time after time after time. The integrated act of firing, I guess you could say that's a little bit like learning how to chew bubblegum, tap dance, and play jacks at the same time. What a sniper strives to do is perform 4 basic skills, mastering each of them and then integrating them simultaneously. Trigger control. He has to be able to release that trigger perfectly, time after time. Body position. He wants to be real solid so the rifle's stable, yet he's comfortable. Sight alignment. If he doesn't have proper sight alignment, he's probably going to cause parallax. He's probably going to push that round a little right, left, up, or down. Breathing. Breathing especially is important, because a lot of people don't understand its full impact. You have to realize that breathing causes your body to move. You breathe out, you breathe in, your chest moves a little bit. Let's look at what this looks like graphically. You breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Well, understanding the cycle, you want to oxygenate your blood a little bit so that you can pause for a second to become a little more solid. So you even deep breathe a little bit. Blow out half of it and hold it. That is called a natural respiratory pause. It's about 5 to 7 seconds. That is when all of this is integrated right in that little window to achieve the most perfect marksmanship. Let's go over and see how our our spotter is preparing to fire. First, let's look at his body position. He's sitting from a bench, so let's take a look at how he's seated the rifle, how he's grasping it. First, we know, because undoubtedly he's a fine marksman, he properly seated that butt in his shoulder. He learned through drills of raising a rifle, putting it in his shoulder and lowering it, how to get it naturally into that deep pocket so it's really solid. Furthermore, he's using his non-shooting hand to hold it solid and pushing back slightly. This also has the effect of reducing the felt recoil because it's solidly against that shoulder. His right hand is on that swelled pistol grip. You see that gap in there? He's got his finger out so that it's going to move independently. He's not going to pull the rifle when he pulls the trigger. And only the tip of his trigger finger is touching the trigger itself. Undoubtedly, he has correct eye relief. He's hopefully set that scope the correct distance from his eye, so that he brings that cheek up to a solid spot on the butt, a spot weld, so that it is at the correct eye relief, and he's got a full scope picture. He's got nothing but clarity out there. Sniper, why don't you go ahead and dry fire? There, does that feel good?
Great.
Okay. One other thing that we could add, this is called a bean bag. You can think of it as kind of a poor man's micrometer for raising the butt on that rifle. With his non-shooting hand, he can put that rifle butt on top of it, and he can squeeze it slightly to raise it or shake it out a little bit to lower it. This is, in essence, a small sandbag. If you don't want to use a military sock, you can cut off the pants from a BDU leg, sew it up, put a little wire on the top. A moment ago I mentioned a scope sight picture to make absolutely sure you understand what that looks like through an optical sight. It should be perfectly clear, the crosshairs centered, no shadow on the sides, no shadows on the top. If you were to shoot through one of these, it would cause the round to tip right or left or go up or down. When it's like this, not only have you got a clear field of view, but you have a correct eye relief of about 3 inches between your eye and that rear ocular scope lens. A sniper has to master his trigger release. He has to shoot over and over and over again in order to do this. Now the trick is, you don't do that live fire, you do it dry fire, because think about it, the recoil from that rifle will mask any sensitivity you may have to the trigger. Now, there's a special drill used by snipers in which they place a coin on the end of the barrel. I've got a quarter here. Go ahead, dry fire. Okay, it didn't move. Let's make it a little more difficult. Rebolt your weapon. Now we're going to put a dime up there. It's narrower, it's more sensitive. Go ahead, dry fire. Waver just a little bit. This is an excellent marksman. That drill alone will probably improve trigger release by 75–80%. When dry firing, though, you should probably use a snap cap, this plastic simulated round, to prevent undue wear or cracking on your firing pin. This will not fire under any circumstance. It's very safe to use. Okay, follow through is required for the sniper to continue to think about the target, maintaining that mental focus and a visual focus on it after squeezing the trigger. It's necessary as a preventative to keep from the bad habit of stopping to focus as you pull the trigger, which will cause you to blow a shot. Now, one thing I can do, and I'm playing the role of the coach here, is I'm looking into a shooting eye. I'm going to watch for the slightest flinch. Go ahead, squeeze it off when it feels good. Oh, I saw a slight movement. Rebolt it. Focus a little harder. I'm helping him. I'm reinforcing him. Go ahead, squeeze it when it feels good. Think through it. Excellent, excellent. That is follow through. That was rock steady. Now let's talk about shooting positions, starting with the offhand or standing position. First of all, you want to seat whatever position you're in. You want to seat the rifle well in your shoulder. Raise it up high, almost shooting at the moon. Get it nice in that pocket. Rotate it down. Now observe the way my elbow is tucked in well against my body. That's because this rifle, any heavy-barreled sniper rifle, is barrel heavy. In order to support it, you've got to really bring that elbow back against your body. But that creates a problem from your breathing, affecting the movement of your chest. What it really means is the offhand is a weak position. You want to reinforce it whenever you can with support, such as this tree. But you don't want to have your rifle touch it. That's a hard-to-hard contact. You always want a hard to soft or soft to hard. By intervening something such as your hand, or if you're in the prone laying on a log, put your field jacket over it. But here, if you'll see, I'm going to put my arm against the tree, but the rifle is actually supported by my hand. I'm in here good and solid. I'm ready to engage. Now let's take a look at the sitting position. Our spotter is in one of two sitting positions. Note that his elbows overlap his knees. He does not want that bone-to-bone contact of elbow to knee bone, because the cushioning effect of the flesh to flesh or muscle to muscle, it's a far more solid position. And the second variation on a sitting is with your feet apart. He tries to keep his feet as flat as possible for the terrain because that improves stability as well. And what we're talking about is being stable and calm when we shoot. And now the last position I'm going to demonstrate is the prone, which the temptation from all the old cowboy movies is to take your barrel and protrude it from cover. Wrong. You're highlighting your position. Back off some. Try to stay as low as you can. Sure, you've got a bipod on it, but unless you absolutely need to get the elevation from that bipod, don't use it. Use your hand or a sandbag. A sandbag would be a bit more stable, but here, right there, I'm as stable as can be. A couple things you should remember when you're firing with a bipod. Number one is that this bipod can be no more solid than the surface you've got it resting on. There's always a danger, first shot, second shot, last shot, of canting with that bipod. To keep from that happening, canting incidentally is tipping right or left as you shoot, which will cause you to dump around right or left. The simplest way to prevent it is stay aware of the danger, and secondly, from time to time, use that horizontal line in your crosshair as a reference to check against a flat horizon. To keep his mental focus and that meticulous attention to detail for each shot he takes, the sniper indeed documents and records it. First, as you can see, he recorded all the background data for shooting today, to include the location, the wind and weather conditions, which rifle he's using. Today, you can see he's emphasizing trigger control in his practice. He's just fired his first shot from the bench. Go ahead and mark where you'd called it, where you believe that you had placed it. Okay, a sniper had gone for a throat shot. I got out the spotting scope. I was coaching for him as his teammate. I plotted it right there, dead center.